Hi everyone, my name is Romarilyn Ralston. I'm the Executive Director for Project Rebound at California State University in Fullerton, California. So, I was incarcerated at 24 years old, sentenced to life in prison. When I arrived at the California Institution for Women, I didn't know what I was going to do with the rest of my life. Being 24 years old, recently released from the military, I had no clue as to what I was going to do. And, a group of women inside the prison saw me, as a first-time incarcerated person and thought, you've got a lot going on for yourself. There's college courses. And when I learned that there were college courses inside the prison, I got super excited because I had always wanted to go to college. As a kid, I wanted to be an astronaut, and I used to stargaze out of the window of our second-story apartment, and I thought, man, if I could just get into space, what would it take for me to get into space? So the military seemed like the best second option for me. But that didn't work out well, and I ended up, a year and a half later in prison serving a life sentence. So when I got to prison and the women introduced me to college, I said, okay, my dream wasn't deferred. Maybe I can do something with my life. And so through higher education, it became my opportunity to reinvent myself. And I was taking classes, sitting in the classroom with a bunch of really brilliant women, and the conversations we would have in those classrooms about, crime, about psychology, about ethics, philosophy, even our college algebra class, we had some heated debates over formulas. But it was so exciting and invigorating. School was just an amazing place inside of a prison. You walk out to the yard and it was just a bunch of deadheads hanging around and getting down on the ground and all of the prison antics that happened. But inside of those classrooms, you could travel. You became someone else. And so that's how I embarked on leadership, and I'm certain that the ELEVATE program has that same kind of feel and flair and just energy about it. Because when you're on a college campus for the first time, you may be scared out of your mind, but you see the possibilities. If only I'm given an opportunity, what I can do in this place, in this space. And so that's how I came to leadership, because I was given opportunities inside of the prison, not only to be a leader, but to create opportunities for others. Inside, I created 5 organizations, 5 self-help groups. Many of them still exist today, where women could come together to get GED support or learn cultural aspects of Black history and culture. I created a fitness program, a youth program. It's just so many ways that we can be leaders no matter where we are, because no matter where you go, there you are. And if your purpose is to be a builder, to be a visionary, if you have a dream, it doesn't have to be deferred. You can make it happen no matter where you are, because you have life in your body. But more than that, you have purpose in your veins. So I'm so excited to be able to talk to you all today from California and to share a little bit about who I am, why I think the ELEVATE program is amazing, and I'm so proud of all of you that you are a part of it. Nina and Nola are amazing individuals, and you should know, if you don't know already, that they have your best interest at heart, and they will ensure that you get all that you need out of education and out of whatever next steps you have in your life. So that's how I came to leadership early in the prison, and then I continued with my leadership when I came home. I spent 23 years in prison, and when I came home, I needed to continue my education. So against all odds, I applied to a private liberal arts school, a school that people told me no one gets there from here. Well, I got there, I made it, I graduated with honors, but more importantly, at Pitzer College, I got my first opportunity to go inside of a juvenile facility and actually give back to those young men. I was able to teach them how to interrogate information, to unpack it, to think critically about issues and language. And I got to share my story. And so it was through the Borrowed Voices program at Pitzer College that my leadership continued to evolve. After that, the sky was the limit. I applied for a choral fellowship in public affairs. I was a choral fellow for 9 months and learned everything that you could possibly want to know about policy, labor, nonprofit, for-profit fields. And it was really an amazing experience. But it wasn't until grad school when I was introduced to Just Leadership USA and their Emerging Leaders program that I was in a room full of people just like me. Game changer, game changer. When you're in a room with people that you know are not judging you, that have been where you've been, that have struggled like you struggled, and that really, against all odds, will have your back, you can soar. Just Leadership USA and their Emerging Leaders training, introduced me to that kind of environment. Everyone was suited and booted, sharp as a tack, and that's where I met Glenn Martin, who's the founder of Just Leadership USA, and Ronald Bay Simpson, who we call Uncle Ron. I think you all met last year or earlier this year. And Glenn's motto was those closest to the problem are closest to the solution, but furthest from resources and power. And every time he would say that, it resonated with me. It was so relevant, it was so tangible that I could see it, that we need to be in the room. We need to be given opportunities to change policy, to advocate for ourselves, to change education, to build the communities we want to build. We are the solutions to crime. We are the solutions to mental health. We are the solutions to all those social ills that oftentimes incarceration becomes a catch-all for. So, if you don't remember anything else I say today, remember those closest to the problem are closest to the solutions, but furthest from resources and power. But Just Leadership USA put us in the room with powerful people, with funders, with philanthropists, with elected officials, and that gave me the confidence to continue to grow as a leader. So after that, I applied to a Women's Policy Institute, and I was selected to be a policy fellow on the criminal justice team. Through that experience, we were able to pass 6 laws here in the state of California, laws that impacted sentencing enhancements, prison conditions, educational policy, and most recently, the Racial Justice Act that prohibits racial discrimination in the courtroom. So excited to have learned all of these things, not just as a leader and as a person who is becoming educated, but through using education as my transformative practice and my tool, I just continue to build the world I want to see. And quite frankly, I want to see a world without prisons. I identify as a Black feminist abolitionist scholar, and I take that very seriously. It's a role that not only I take on for myself, but I've learned to embrace. There are a lot of things wrong with this world, but there are a lot of things right with it. The hardships that prison cause our communities, our families, and those who have been harmed by it, there's nothing right about that. Education, however, is transformative. We should always choose education over incarceration. That's another, I think, really amazing slogan that we have in our movement work: education, not incarceration. We all know about the school to prison pipeline, ELEVATE, and programs like Project Rebound. We are creating a prison to school pipeline. We want to make sure that every incarcerated or formerly incarcerated person knows that they can find support and an opportunity to reinvent themselves on a college campus. In fact, Project Rebound says that we support the higher education and successful reintegration of the formerly incarcerated. Just like Just Leadership USA, we center in Project Rebound the leadership of those who have been most criminalized by mass incarceration, meaning people like me. I would not be the executive director of Project Rebound if we did not take that seriously. Project Rebound is 55 years old. It was started and created by Dr. John Irwin, a man who spent 5 years in prison in the 1950s for robbery. He knew then that education was a way to save himself. He had earned a number of credits while incarcerated, and like me, after prison, enrolled in college courses. Went on, got his PhD, and started teaching. But something that he did that no one else has been able to replicate since was to build that pipeline for other people to matriculate into the largest public university system within North America, the CSU. So thanks to Dr. John Irwin, who's no longer with us, we now have 15 rebound programs across the state of California. And I'm super excited and very honored and privileged to be the ED of our Fullerton campus. But I'm sure there's more you want to know about me. So many things motivate me every day. When I was inside, what motivated me most was what I could do if I had the opportunity to be free. You know, a lot of people inside, they're thinking about their kids, they're thinking about their spouse, they're thinking about, other people and what they would do differently if they're released. Although I had children and some family members on the outside, what really motivated me was a higher calling to be of service to others. I knew my life was about more than just being a mother or a sister or an auntie or a friend. I really wanted to be able to change the world. And so that was my motivation every day, to get up, change my environment. And as I said, I was able to do that inside when I created a number of organizations to help some of my incarcerated sisters. But now that I'm out, what motivates me? The people I left behind, knowing that they are just as deserving as I am of this life, of education, of opportunities. Also, another thing that motivates me is every day I get to walk around a college campus, CSU Fullerton, and I get to engage and interact with our rebound scholars, formerly incarcerated students, many of them non-traditional age students, many of them believing that this is their last opportunity to success, to a quality life. And I get the opportunity to empower them. I get the opportunity to guide them. I get the opportunity to see them graduate and go on to law school, to PhD programs and graduate programs and leadership opportunities, build businesses. I get to meet their children and hopefully one day their children's children. So that motivates me every day. It motivates me to know that hopefully at the end of my life, a small piece of my legacy will be that I helped other people become their best self. So I love the name Elevate. I love it. Just saying elevate makes me feel taller, feel bigger, feel stronger. So, Elevate is about lifting people up. It's about giving people opportunities to be their best self, to go out and do the things that you want to do, and to hold you up when you need holding up. That's also a part of Elevate. No man is an island. No woman gets to where she is by herself. Elevate is all about being that partner with you, making sure that if you want to run, they're there to pass the baton to you. Whatever it is that you want to do, they're there to support you in doing that. And so the Elevate program believes in leadership. They believe in community. But most of all, they believe that people like us, those who have a lived experience with the criminal legal system, those who have been criminalized, those who have been marginalized, those who have been, set apart, forgotten about, counted out, you're back in the game with Elevate. So that's what I love about Elevate. They put you back in the game. And so that's why I love Rebound, because it's about bouncing back. So between having some bounce back and some levels to you, you can't lose. Well, some of these certificates are some of those things that just came to pass because we were in a room with the right people. And that's what's so amazing about our opportunities now as formerly incarcerated people. We're in the rooms with the right people. We now have access. So when you have access, use it. Take every opportunity to share your story, to think about, what it is that you would change if you could change it. How would you like to leave your community, your family, the world in a better place? And so if we're always thinking higher, if we're always thinking about our neighbor, then I think we are able to create opportunities to make the world a better place. When I got into policy, it was scary. I had lawyers around me who were policy fellows. I had teachers, those who had been in the policy and advocacy game for a while. I was new. I just wanted to give it a try because I had some ideas. I'd been inside a long time, and I said, well, we need to change a couple of things about the prison system. We need to change some regulations, some institutional policies. How do we do that? And policy is one of those things that we can do that. So in a room, just brainstorming with people and just say, what would you like to have seen? What do you think could be done differently? Just map it out. Put pieces of paper all over the wall. One of those ideas was around sentencing enhancements. We have a 5-year sentencing enhancement here that was mandatory. Mandatory just because you had a serious felony on your record already. Mandatory if you had gang affiliation. Mandatory, for all kinds of things. We wanted to make sure that we got rid of that mandatory and added judicial discretion so that the judge could say, you know what, you haven't been in trouble for a while. I'm not going to give you that additional 5 years. So we removed that mandatory and we added judicial discretion. Something small like that is a game changer for someone's life. Getting rid of an automatic 1-year mandatory sentencing enhancement just because you have a prior felony. No one wants time added to their time just because they had gotten in trouble in the past. So things like that is why I think policy became really important to me, to be able to say, okay, changing this one thing about the law is going to impact 4 million people. Changing this one thing about this prison condition immediately impacted 80,000 incarcerated people by simply saying, we're going to do away with having an indigent threshold of $1. We're going to raise it to $25 so that the state would be responsible for providing hygiene items, so that people who make 8 cents an hour are not responsible for a tube of toothpaste. So it was small things like that that really got me into policy and really helped me to think about ways to help other people. Yeah, I guess my final thought would be to all of you getting ready to elevate, getting ready to challenge, professors and faculty members in the classroom with all of your brilliance. Do it. Do it every day. Be the first one to speak up. Be the first one to share about your experience. Have the college experience you dreamed about. Don't be ashamed of your past. Everybody's got one. Embrace your future. And don't let people hold you hostage to the things that you've done when you were stupid. We've all made stupid mistakes. And if we knew everyone's backstory, it would be different. But because sometimes our stories are public record, we feel ashamed and embarrassed in ways that other people don't. Forgive yourself. Embrace what you have now. Enjoy life. Don't let anything hold you back. And remember, you deserve it.